Here we go. Good morning, I'm Ice Cold Tip, and I've come from the future in order to tell you that your taste in video games are terrible, and that I hate you. And for today's topic, we're going to be talking about inhumane forms of torture, specifically a subcategory under the UNCAT known as Street Fighter 6. A while back, on my main channel, I made a video talking about obvious problems within like Tekken's community and modern fighting games as a whole. And the whole point of it is underlying that content creators and affiliate marketers and whatnot are incentivized to basically tell you how good the game is and to keep playing insert game here and not give their real opinions due to audience capture and things along those lines. And in many cases, that people who will defend these games will not necessarily be out of enjoyment or appreciation, but out of monetary compensation. That kind of rhymes. And toward the end of the video, I said a probably retardedly hyperbolic statement, which was, but you see the same issues with Strive and Street Fighter 6. And Street Fighter still holds on to a lot of its fan base, but I mean, they're being held in only by massive fucking prize pools, right? And a lot of the players are tired and exhausted of that game, and that game has pretty much all the same issues, if not more, than Tekken 8. Street Fighter 6 is not your savior. That game's fucking dog shit, and I'm gonna stand by this. Honestly, this is a bold statement, no rage bait though. It's probably one of the worst fighting games in history. In my opinion, it is fucking terrible. And I genuinely think Tekken 8 is a better game than Street Fighter 6 competitively. And from that, I got a comment basically asking what was my reasoning behind this. And from there, I basically just stated, like, I just essay posted from there. And the TLDR was that mechanics like Drive Rush in Street Fighter 6, as well as the prevalence of Oki, and really fucked up risk reward, where like a lot of combos will do like 70% plus Oki and shit like that, oftentimes causes the gameplay to be very repetitive and undermines neutral, causing it to be more offensive, which is of course the direction that the developers obviously want intentionally. And I believe that undermining neutral and trying to reduce neutral as much as possible is just worse for the game overall, as that neutral allows the most amount of depth and complexity and strategy that causes you to think and be both players responding in a fashion that is, you know, interactive and feels fresh and new the more times you play it. And things like Oki, as well as plus frames and combos, they're something that you earn. They are a reward for calling something out or making a correct play in neutral, where the strategy is founded on. But in these modern games, like Tekken 8, as well as Street Fighter 6, combos, Oki, and plus frames, they are something that are not earned, they are something that is expected to be given to you. And most of the time when people talk about Street Fighter 6, a lot of times you'll always get these cheeky cunts who will say something along the lines of, well, at least it's not Street Fighter 5, am I right? People just hate the new game, am I right, guys? And expect everybody to just give them a fucking round of applause for their amazing analysis. And I'm not gonna sit here and act like Street Fighter 5 was the greatest fighting game to ever be made, and that people should actually be playing Street Fighter 5. No, Street Fighter 5 is certainly not a good fighting game, or the greatest fighting game. It was pretty good towards the end of its life, but it had a lot of balancing to do and a lot of rough things. And even at the end, it still had a lot of fucking problems. Street Fighter 5 is not the greatest fighting game of all time, and I'm not going to sit here and pretend like it was. In fact, I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to do nothing but shit on Street Fighter 5, and then tell you why Street Fighter 6 is worse. Because anything you can say about Street Fighter 5, you can say about Street Fighter 6 tenfold. Because the problems that Street Fighter 5 had, and the main things that people complain about Street Fighter 5 with, all of those exist in Street Fighter 6 in much worse conditions. So upon the plethora of issues that Street Fighter 5 had, if we're talking just gameplay alone, usually there are two major things that people bring up. One, this game's dubious, questionable footsies, which is definitely a big one. And then two is V-Trigger. Just to make sure we're all on the same page, V-Trigger is an install that you get from taking damage. And its big complaint is that it was a comeback mechanic, and a lot of people complained because it was so strong that with a lot of characters you could do easily 40-50% of people's health with one good V-trigger activation, force multitudes of guesses, and basically be able to rob somebody before they can even get their V-trigger. So a large complaint is that it was so strong that for a lot of people it felt like it incentivizes losing, that it was more rewarding to just start losing and then rob them with your V-trigger before they get V-trigger, and it was a race to who can get V-trigger first, rather than just, you know, playing the game normally. But another issue with V-trigger that was universal, unless your name is Vega, was V-trigger cancel. And for anybody who hadn't played Street Fighter V, essentially what this would do is make it where if I press any button or even some EX special moves, I can cancel that into V-trigger, causing the big screen freeze and pretty much making almost anything in the game plus, which of course means putting you into a mix-up. And this feeling, I think, is one of the biggest things that causes a game to be bad, right? Right, and I think one of the worst feelings in any video game, not just a fighting game, is knowing exactly what your opponent is going to do and there's nothing you can do about it, right? Seeing the same things over and over again. This is the same reason a lot of like newer beginner level players feel very frustrated when trying to learn fighting games or any game in general, when it comes to somebody spamming a move or that's a cheap move or whatever, right? When somebody uses the same move over and over again, they don't know how to respond with it. It gets very, very frustrating because it feels like there's nothing you can do. Now in a good game, of course, you should be able to shut down all those options. But when you create a game where there's something that somebody can do and there's not really any reasonable counterplay, there's really nothing you can do about it, you know what they're going to do, you know how they're going to do it, and that's just the way it is, that is one of the worst fucking feelings in the world. And it makes the game feel very unfair in a lot of situations. That's what you get with V-trigger, because 9 times out of 10, most characters, when they have V-trigger, they're going to attempt to do whatever their favorite move is into that V-trigger and then put you into a million guesses until you die. Or if they get a hit with whatever move they like the most, then, well, you're going to take a big fucking chunk of your health gone and then put into a million guesses until, well, you know, you die. So let's actually go into Street Fighter V, and let me introduce you to probably my second most played character in this game, and my favorite, and the character I would consider my main, Urien. Probably the most famous part about Urien is his V-trigger, which is, of course, Aegis Reflector. Now, preferably, he's going to want to get this on hit, of course, so he can get a big combo, either from low forward or stand medium kick, or down forward heavy kick, right? You're playing neutral with stand strong and crouch strong, which aren't exactly they're not the worst buttons, but they're not the greatest buttons, especially when you're a really big motherfucker and you're a lot slower than most other characters. But the moment that he gets V-trigger, his character fundamentally changes. The way that you interact with him fundamentally changes. Because now he's going to switch up to doing stand medium kick and low forward, which are normally not special cancelable. I can't special cancel after this. This I can. So his range basically doubles and becomes a whole lot safer, and he doesn't need to hold charge. He doesn't have to worry about charge, so he can play a lot more aggressively. It changes the character fundamentally the moment he has this. But even if he can't get this hit, it's honestly not even that big of a deal, because you can still just lame them out by doing this. This EX tackle is unreactable. I mean, if you're anywhere within, like, mid-screen, I guess, he can just do this. And I mean, he can kind of, even if he has like a life advantage, he can kind of red light, green light you, and the risk isn't that bad because it's -2 if you block it, which is of course very strong. But when he has V-trigger, you can cancel it. And Urien's not the only character that's like this, right? I mean, there's a lot of characters with very fast dash advancing EX moves that they can V-trigger cancel into. I know Birdie can, Gil can, Balrog can. So there's a lot of characters with similar moves that can basically just give you cancer and activate at any point, forcing you into a guess, especially with a V-trigger like Urien's, which is extremely strong. And you might say, oh, what about V-reversal, right? What about V-reversal? V-reversal is a tool where I get to spend 1 meter of V-bar, or whatever the fuck you want to call it, right? And I can basically get you off of me. For some characters, they have a faster version, such as Ken, which leaves him standing in +2. If I get hit, some characters have a slower version that's a knockdown. And you'd be right. V-reversal does work in a lot of situations to push you off, right? So, like, if I do this, there's nothing I can do here. I can't activate like that, right? Anytime I do this, he can instantly just V-reversal. Doesn't matter the character. You can just V-reversal if I V-trigger off on that first hit, right? And because, like, off this V-trigger cancel, I have 5 frames, which is enough time to get me a throw. And off only V-trigger canceling off the first hit, I'm +3. I don't have enough time to throw you, which means you can guaranteed V-reversal. Let's add some extra frames. 10 seems like a good number, just so he can hit on the second hit. Boom. Reset. Not a fun situation to be in. You don't want to, like I said, on reaction, If I do that and you try to V-reversal me, keep in mind, Ken also has one of the faster V-reversals in the game, the ones that leave you standing. You can't do that. That's illegal. Which means in that situation, you just have to hold my nuts. You have to hold my big, sweaty, hairy balls. The moment I have V-trigger up at any point, I can just do this. And then I can reset you and then throw you or, shimmy you into whatever the fuck. And that really is the big issue with V-trigger cancel. It's just at any point I can, press a big button, press a sweep, or if I'm a really privileged character like Urian, just EX fucking tackle just at any point. We're playing red light, green light, right? Boom. And if you get hit by that shit, you're fucking dead. And if you block it, you're going to be put into a bunch of guesses. And that's really the core issue. And if they have V-trigger and you don't, there's not really a whole lot you can do about it. You just have to guess. Right? And it's just V-trigger cancel. Don't get it twisted. V-trigger cancel itself is partially like one of the worst parts about this game, right? Characters like Urian that are just super privileged, that can just do some instant full screen shit into putting you into a guess. Not even that, you had characters like Seth, you could do Crouch Fierce into V-trigger, and that went basically full screen. You have like G likes to do Forward Fierce into V-trigger, and that's a really big move. And basically, yeah, you at any point, I can just, if I have this, I can just put you into a guess. But it's like, then you compare it to a game like Street Fighter 6, where it's almost like everybody has V-trigger cancel all the time, as long as they have the drive to spend it, right? At any point in Street Fighter 6, I can just raw drive rush into Stand Fierce, and a lot of times you just have to hold that. At any point, I can raw drive rush into low forward. At any point, if you get hit by a random Stand Fierce, a random low forward, I can just drive rush that, and if you got hit by that, that's fucking 50%. Easy. Especially with level 3, right? And if you block it, you're put into a guess. There's no winning there. If I'm playing, fucking Ken or whatever, Stand Fierce into Drive Rush, you hold that shit. There's no thought process behind it. There's no nothing behind it. And it's like, at least V-trigger cancel, it's once around. It's stupid. It sucks. Yeah, but it's once around. And maybe the character, depending on what V-trigger they have, they can put you into multiple guesses. Like Urian, he can knock you off this, I think, 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. You're put into like 3 guesses there, where he'll have chances to shimmy you or throw you. But even if you take 1 throw, he gets... Let's see. Fuck. How did I mess that up? Yeah, you take 1 throw, he gets a reset. He might get 2 throws off this. He can't back throw back into that Aegis Reflector. It doesn't matter how much time you have, right? Right? And I don't care what game it is or what we're talking about here. It doesn't matter. Any game where you can force 50-50s, where I can just ignorantly press a button, right? Same thing with Tekken. If I can just ignorantly press, quarter circle forward, Requiem elbow, and you get hit by it and you're guessing or blocking, even if it's just once around, that's ridiculous. But even like Tekken 8, as well as this game, it's once. Street Fighter 6, that's just the fucking game. That's multiple times around. I'm gonna get, I spend 3 drive meter to charge in and force you into a guess or a big combo. Off of low forward or Stand Fierce or whatever my favorite button is. Or I can just raw drive rush. Either way, that's neutral. That's the game. And you want to talk about robbery factor. This game, it's like, there were some fucked up combos, especially when they had less V-trigger scaling. They increased the V-trigger scaling, which was nice, especially like characters like Seth and whatnot. As well as like Armika. They had some insanely fucked up combos. It was G too, right? That could take like 60-70%. But if we're talking Street Fighter 6, this game, dude, every character does like 60 or 70% if they drop all their drive and a level 3. And they've got a level 3 meter that and they have a super meter that is exclusively only for super. In this game, I mean, the super meter is also used for your EXs. So I have to make a choice. And even on block. But like that's just an innate part of Street Fighter 6. But I mean, if we want to talk about V triggers and Street Fighter 6, let me introduce you to Drive Rush before Drive Rush. This is one of my favorite V triggers, and this is why I don't want to hear anybody glorify the game and not talk about this shit, right? This, let's see here. It's V trigger 2. This shit is this is Drive Rush before Drive Rush. This bitch was playing Street Fighter 6 before it came out, right? So in the arcade edition of Street Fighter 6, Kolin got this. And essentially what this V-trigger did was increase all of her normals by like a little bit, right? So let me see if there's a way I can display this. Yeah, so this doesn't hit here, and then I V-trigger, and then it hits, right? So she'll get like a little extension on all of her punch buttons and whatnot. And then she also gets this ice dash thing, which is pretty good. But the main thing, the funniest part about this V-trigger was this. It changed her dash. So when she had this, she got this slide. And she could do fucking goofy shit off this, right? So like, she could, off V-trigger, you'd see Kolin's do this. V-trigger activated in neutral, just randomly. And now it's robbery time. You want to chase her down? At any point she could hit you with this. And let's see if I even remember the combo. Something like... I don't play fucking Kolin. It's been a long time. Come on. No. Cut. Ah, fuck. I missed the throw. There we go. Okay, first try. Yeah, something like that. 225 damage is what you would get off just a random low forward. About 20%. What's that? Yeah, that's 22%. Right? So I think you have 10,000 health in Street Fighter 6. That's how they count it. So yeah, this would be, for an EX meter, about 20% of your health is what she would get off something like this. She'd probably do a different combo. I think with this thing, maybe there's something more optimal. But it's like, yeah, that's 20%. And the thing is, it's like, oh, well, this is just a random V-trigger. No, this wasn't just a random V-trigger. This was the random V-trigger.
There's a lot going on for sure. Yeah, man, definitely. I think people would argue that this might be even one of the best V-triggers in the game, like just like number one. But I feel like the next character we're going to mention, which is the last one, is definitely the best new V-trigger added to AE, and that is Kolin. I don't think anyone's surprised about this. I mean, just to quickly summarize what her second V-trigger does, it enhances her normals. Her normals now have icicles at the edges, so it enhances her range, which allows you better shimmies, different frame traps that wouldn't work before. It enhances her dash, so she literally just slides in front of you. It enhances her projectiles, so they're giant hail storms. I think it adds better OP options for her.
On the fucking release of Arcade Edition of Street Fighter 6. Or Street Fighter 5. This is all people wanted to talk about. This was like the most fucked up thing anyone could imagine, dude. This shit. Why was it fucked up? The same exact reason Drive Rush is fucked up. And this compared to Drive Rush is minuscule. I'm getting 20%. I'll take fucking 20% off a raw Drive Rush low forward any fucking day of the week. Over the kinds of shit you'd get off a raw Drive Rush low forward in Street Fighter 6, dude. That shit is 50% plus Oki if they got meter, dude. What, like, what? It's like, but it's like this was like the fucked up V-trigger that people bitch the most about. And all I remember, it's like just thread after thread, and all people would talk about is like, Kolin's V-trigger is so broken. Oh my god! And I mean, it was fucked up. Yeah, it was fucked up. I'm not gonna sit here and say like, no, it wasn't actually that bad, dude. She could do some really fucked up shit, especially like people who actually play Kolin. She had like insane like left-right resets and stuff like that off the V-trigger cancel with this. But it's like, the main thing was that she could just act retarded and be random and then fucking do this shit. Let me do the the comment was actually kind of fun. Boop, boop. Bop, bop. First try. Yeah. But it's like, and I don't even get Oki. I'm plus 14, which is good. But I'm about, I mean, I don't have a normal dash. Maybe I do get Oki. Does she get Oki off this? I don't know. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. But it's like, that's my problem with Street Fighter 6. That's why Street Fighter 6 is an indefensible game. Because what it feels like to me is it feels like every character is in V-Trigger. It feels like Street Fighter 5, but every fucking character is in V-Trigger all the time. And passively, you just have Kolin's V-Trigger. And if you can't play like Kolin does here, if you can't play that, then your character's not worth playing. You know, like, who do you see? It's always like Ryu and Juri and shit like that. Characters that can just raw drive rush into low forward and get Oki off throw and shit. Right? It's the same thing. It's the same thing, and that's what's good. That's what's good. And if you can't do that, you might as well retire, right? And I mean, you get a character like, let's say, Ed. Ed is a character who also had another really strong V-Trigger. I haven't really seen Ed in Street Fighter 6. I know it's just level 2. I don't know if it works relatively the same way. But, like, Ed's also a really, also a very strong character. And has a very fucking strong V-Trigger. And the way... I tried to fucking Korean backdash. My brain is soup. Alright. The way his V-Trigger works is he goes, "You're on borrowed time," right? And he throws this thing. This big fucking orb. Right? And part of the reason, like, this V-Trigger was so strong is, one, it's a 2-bar V-Trigger, which, if you don't know, for context, you're going to get roughly about 4 bars in the course of a round with V-Trigger if you're really squeezing it. So Ed can potentially get this twice. Same thing with Kolin. She can potentially get hers twice. Usually it won't end up like that. But it saves enough room for things like V-Shift and V-Reversal. But it's a 2-bar V-Trigger. And the big fucked up thing with this that made this like one of the strongest things in the game is the moment I throw this out, you're fucked. I control the match. I control the game. It's not like a lot of other V-Triggers where it's like, boom, you know, is V-Trigger cancel. I mean, I guess I can. Like, I can kind of, yeah. I mean, yeah. But, like, Eds can just do this in neutral and just command the game. And the big thing that they would do, right, and you see this at high-level play with, like, players like Ending Walker and, God, what's the other one? Mono's boyfriend. Ajax Fidelity, right? You throw out this V-Trigger. Let's see if I know how to do this. Oh, fuck me. That was sloppy. That was... Nah. So, like, generally what I can do is I can throw out this V-Trigger, and if you sit here and try to block it, I can go and push you out of the range of the thing and constantly keep throw looping you. And I can get maybe 3 or 4 throws out of this. Maybe 5 if I really squeeze it, if I'm really good. I'm not really an Ed player, so, yeah, but I can, basically that's what Eds will do with that kind of thing. And if you try to tech, he's just gonna you're gonna get exploded by the big orb. If you try to mash, you're gonna get exploded by the big orb. And if your answer is just jump it, yeah, you're the first one to think of that one, retard. You're fucked. You're fucked, right? And that's the situation you're going to be in. So it's basically like, yeah, you've got to take maybe 4 or 5 throws. You can tech it. If you do actually tech it at the right time, then you can push him out and then block all of the things, and then you're good to go. But the big scary thing is essentially what this does is gives him loopable Oki. It essentially gives him setups for 4 or 5 guesses for 4 or 5 throws, right? Depending on where you are. I mean, that's all the way on the very far side of one corner going all the way to the other one. If we're just sitting here at mid-screen, which is probably where this is going to be, right? You're going to take 2 or 3 throws, maybe. This shit is considered one of the strongest V-Triggers in the game. Partially due just because of its accessibility and just how well it just controls neutral, but a lot of that is like, I'm taking 2 or 3 throws. A lot of that is the loopable Oki. That is the scary part. He just forces you to have a bunch of guesses, a bunch of throws. Because in this game, if you don't know, generally, after I throw you, I'm minus. Every character in this game, purposefully, intentionally, like you'll see this in the corner, I get pushed back if I throw you in the corner. I don't stay where I am. Every character is like this. you are minus after you throw them. After you throw a person, you are always minus. Doesn't matter back throw, forward throw, no bullshit here. Right? That doesn't exist in Street Fighter 6. A lot of characters get loopable Oki off throw. A lot of characters throw you, and they can throw you again, and they can throw you again. And you see this all the time in tournament, right? It's just boom, throw, boom, throw, boom, throw, boom, throw, boom, throw, over and over and over again. And it's like, oh, this guy's so stupid, just tech it. But it's like in a game where I can take 70% of your life if I have the right resources for it. Yeah, it's just not worth it. It's just not fucking worth it. That's just not how it works. That's why you don't have the fucking loopable Oki. That's why you don't have throw loops. And their solution is what? Just nerf the damage on the throws? No, motherfucker, you're just gonna see more throws now. That's not gonna dissuade people from using throws more. You have to remove the Oki on the throws. Right? And that's the way it's always been. That's the way that Street Fighter V is. Right? That's the whole thing. You take the throw. You take the throw. It's not worth teching. If I delay tech, I fucking die for this. It's not worth it. It's worth to just take the throw and I'm out of the guess. The safe option is to always just take the throw. You don't have a safe option in Street Fighter 6. There is no safe option. You might as well just play random then. You might as well just fucking turn everything into a big dice roll then. Right? This is a very strong... And it's a very strong V-trigger. Because essentially, it gives me Oki. It gives me loopable Oki. It gives me a bunch of throws. But that's just an innate part. If I'm just playing Cammy, or I'm playing Ken, or I'm playing Jury, or I'm playing fucking Ryu, I just have this. This is something that I have to have a fucking resource that people want to cry about. And it's just part of the game. This V-trigger is so fucking strong. Like, if you watch high-level play... A lot of players, the moment that he throws at this V-trigger, they'll back themselves into the fucking corner. They'll literally backdash. Like, if Ken is Ed and I'm not Ed, they'll literally do this and backdash themselves all the way into the corner. And Ed is not a fun character to fight in the corner. He's very fucking strong in the corner. He has insane pressure. And the final thing I want to talk about with Street Fighter V is, like, when we're regarding throw loops and stuff like that, which are just cringe and cancer, of course. We have Luke. I remember when Luke came out, people bitched about this shit. Which this is super strong. Of course, Luke is definitely a strong character. But Luke on his release, and it's likely intentional, had some very funny stuff off his throws. So the first thing is off back throw. He could do this, and then heavy kick, and right there, 0. Normally it's +1. They change it, they patch it in real time. So Luke, if he back threw you, he'd do this, bonk, and off back throw, it's set up perfectly. Fucking perfectly. Which is clearly, like, there's no way they accidentally did this. And after they already patched the game, they left this in perfectly to fucking set up for a meaty +1 heavy kick. And this heavy kick you have to space, right? So if he back threw you off this, he could just... No movement, no nothing. That one's 0. But he would just do that. He's 0 or +1. And especially in this game, where Luke had the most insane fucking crouch jab. I mean, this is like the only... This is the only button you need. It's not the only button you're going to use. That's all I'm saying. Right? This is like one of the longest fucking crouch jabs in the game. And I think they nerfed its range and everything too. And it was only 3 frames. It's 3 frames. Right? Which is insanely fast. So he had that, which was funny. And then on forward throw, he could perfectly set up for this meaty stand fierce, or forward fierce. And if you got hit by it, it was of course a crush counter if you tried to mash on wake up, which was insanely good. And the big thing is you could do this, right? Off throwing, he was -2 off the throw. This is not normal. Most characters don't get frames like this. -2 is -2. He's -2 in your face. You're not supposed to be able to do this. You're not supposed to be able to get Oki off of throw, right? And it's like, oh, well, he's minus. Just mash, of course. Right? And it's like, yeah. You just mash and he's minus. But the problem is, like, most characters, you can just punish them, literally, for trying to dash up after throw. Right? This is highly irregular. And with how fast Luke's forward dash is and how innocuous it is, even at the highest level, I remember Punk doing this. I think Mena did this as well. They would literally throw a forward throw, and they would get Oki off this. Or, like, try to. It's fake, right? But as far as I'm concerned, if it works at the highest level of play, sometimes, even though it's technically fake, then it works as long as you're not a bitch. Right? So, I mean, sometimes you literally see this, even at, you know, high levels in pro play. You'd see him forward throw, and then he would do that. He's +2. And people bitched about this. People bitched about his, you know, back throw, heavy kick setup bullshit. You mash, boom, roundhouse, right? His forward throw off -2. And, I mean, sometimes they would just do that. Oh, I fucked that up. Right? Sometimes they would just do that and then forward throw you and then and you can't punish it. Right? He'd forward throw you, he'd dash, and then you would just sit there and block. Right? Sometimes you just do that. If you do nothing about that, he's going to take his turn. Right? It's technically not loopable Oki, but it was enough to get people pissed off, enough to make people really not like this character. I mean, it's not the only thing that people didn't like about this character. This character had a lot of really fucked shit. Oh, I don't have the right V skill. I was gonna do the V skill sway, the EX Sandblast. But yeah, I mean, this character had a lot of really fucked up things. But I mean, one of the things people complained about that was on the list was these throws, and a clear intentional like setup for dumb shit off this, and basically being able to get like this fake Oki shit, right? But it's like, that's just an inherent part of Street Fighter 6. You actually get real Oki off throw, which is ridiculous. And anybody defending this shit is ridiculous. But it's like, oh, the game just looks good. The game, fucking my favorite streamer played it, so I've got to defend this game until I fucking die. What? Give me a break, man. And I'll leave this off with, like, once again, the second biggest issue that people complain about is neutral, right? Is the footsie game, where, I mean, you see this at like you see this all the time, where it's like they basically made the hurt boxes when you throw out a button in Street Fighter V non-existent. So it was almost impossible to extremely difficult to whiff punish anything in Street Fighter in Street Fighter V, right? So I mean, people memed on it, and it's like, yeah, that sucks. That's insanely stupid. And I think the reason is because they wanted the same kind of thing. Like, they wanted a more aggressive game. They wanted people less trying to be here, throwing out buttons and trying to like look for whiff punishes and stuff, and more wanted people to be like here and trying to, you know, try and get them toes and try and like tick pressure and stuff like that. And I think that was more the goal, is they wanted like a more tick pressure centric game, which they did get. But yeah, it's stupid. It's stupid, yes. And Street Fighter 6 thankfully doesn't have that problem. You throw out a low forward, and I can throw out a low forward back, and if I react to it properly, boom, that's a whiff punish, and that's great. The problem is, when are you going to be in that situation? When are you going to be in this situation? At the end of the day, a million fucking times, 10 toes fucking down, I would rather play dog shit neutral like Street Fighter V than no neutral at all. If you're playing neutral, something's gone wrong in Street Fighter 6. If you're talking about neutral in Street Fighter 6, that's like talking about throws in Tekken. You're not at a level where it even fucking matters. Where we're not even having a conversation. Like, what the fuck are you talking? You're talking about Tekken throws doing too much damage? What are you, a fucking scrub? It's the same shit. If you're talking about how good oh my god, the neutral is so good, the footsies are so good in Street Fighter 6, the footsies are back. Where are you at where you get to play neutral in Street Fighter 6, motherfucker? There ain't no neutral here. All I see is raw drive rush and stand fierce into fucking half my health. We're so fucking fake, dude. You know, and I say all this shit. And it's like, yeah, Street Fighter 5 is a dog shit game. And towards the end of its life, it was playable, it was fine. It was a pretty good game, to be honest, but still had a lot of issues that it's certainly not make it the perfect Street Fighter. It's not the greatest Street Fighter. But Street Fighter 6 is certainly not that. And anything you can say about Street Fighter 5, you can say about Street Fighter 6 tenfold. And if you can't accept that, then we're just not even, like, there's nothing to even talk about here. You know, and I'm not going to sit here and try to push like, oh, you know, Street Fighter 5 and Street Fighter 6 may have been ass, but you should play insert game here, right? No. If anybody goes in and tells you that, like, okay, this game's ass, but this is the perfect Street Fighter, they're fucking lying to you. There is no perfect Street Fighter. They're all dog shit. They're all dog shit, Lamau. Nah. You know, but it's like Street Fighter 4, people also complain about it being vortexy. Like, that's probably the biggest complaint when people do complain about Street Fighter 4. It's like, oh, well, doesn't Street Fighter 4 have throw loops? Doesn't it have loopable Oki, right? Doesn't it have massive vortex? And it's like, yeah. Street Fighter 4 almost certainly does have big vortexes. It does have loopable Oki. It does have throw loops. But also, Street Fighter 4, I'm not the biggest Street Fighter 4 defender either. It's also kind of dog shit, right? But one of the big distinctions that, like, Street Fighter 4 had over like Street Fighter 5 and Street Fighter 6 is, as far as like throw loops go, it's still stupid, it's still dumb, yeah, and the game is vortexy as hell, but it still has far more neutral than Street Fighter 6 ever will and ever had, right? For starters, it helps a little bit for the throw loop things that in Street Fighter 4 you have what was called crouch tacking, which is essentially that for whatever reason, if I try to throw or like delay tech or whatever while I'm crouching, it won't come out as a throw. It'll come out as a crouch short instead. So people will like delay tech like a fucking bitch in that game. They will delay tech fucking everything, just anything and everything, constantly just delay teching like they're retarded. And it's really hard to oftentimes shut down a crouch short unless you have like, if you have like an auto shimmy, that's great. Like usually you're just gonna have to like, I don't know, delay button or something like that. And at the end of the day, like if I successfully tech in either Street Fighter 5 or Street Fighter 4, boom, pushes us apart and we return to neutral. Street Fighter 6, it returns to neutral, but it's like, oh, what's the best thing I can do in this situation? I know, raw drive rush. And you see this situation all the time. It's like, I know they're going to raw drive rush. There's not a whole lot I can do about it. So I just have to raw drive rush back and just see who wins first. You see this all the time. It's like, fuck, both players tech, boom, raw drive rush. Boom, raw drive rush. And it's just the optimal thing to do. It's just where it is. It's just the most stupid, mind-melting thing imaginable, right? And Street Fighter 4 also has its own issues with stupid fucking comeback mechanics. Like Ultra, right? Which is literally a super that does 50% of your health. And I'm glad that when going over to Street Fighter 5, they dropped that and, you know, decided, maybe having supers that do 50% of your health are fucking retarded. And then they immediately forgot that in the next game. So Street Fighter 4 is almost certainly not a perfect game, but it's certainly better than Street Fighter 6. And as far as like Street Fighter Alpha and Third Strike, oh, don't those have throw loops? Don't those have loopable Oki? Yeah and no. In those games, in Third Strike and Alpha, I believe you have 5-6 frames of throw protection, something along those lines, which means on wake up or on block, if I try to throw you, like if I try to meaty throw you, then I can't. It will whiff, right? And don't even think about trying to tick throw somebody. You might as well just fucking kill yourself at that point. And calling Street Fighter 6 one of the worst real fighting games of all time is a pretty high bar and pretty hyperbolic statement. But I mean, if we just compare it to other Street Fighters, I think I can confidently say that it might be the worst Street Fighter of all time. And like, I mean, maybe you have a case over Street Fighter 2. That Street Fighter 2, like Street Fighter 2 is like not like a, like that's not like a real game.
You're gonna enter the dragon.
What? That shit is, I mean, it's like maybe you have a case when we're talking like Street Fighter 2, but it's like, what are we even talking about here? When you're comparing this to like a 30-year-old game? Like, okay, Street Fighter 2 has fucked up throws. It's got, I mean, I like, we're not even having a real conversation here. Yeah, okay. Street Fighter 2's fucking dog shit. But it's like, what are we even talking about? This is like the first like real fighting game ever. Except for like Karate Man or whatever the fuck for the Atari, right? It's like, congratulations. You win. Rage bait detected. You got me. You got my Jewish plot to trick all of the goyim into thinking Street Fighter 6 was the worst fighting game ever. You got me. It was rage bait. I don't believe it myself. Street Fighter 2 is probably worse than fucking Street Fighter 6. You know, and it's like everybody's looking for, you know, and it's just like there's always this vicious cycle where it's like, you know, people want to say like, oh, people are just negative about the new game. People are just negative about the new game. But it's like, when the new game is dog shit, the new game is dog shit. Especially when it's like you see a lot of players who won't even touch this shit. Who won't even touch Street Fighter 6, right? And it's like maybe if we're comparing Street Fighter 6 to launch Street Fighter 5, you've got a case. But as far as gameplay goes, like it's not a perfect game. People pretend like it is. It's just so stupid. So you don't even you have no idea what you're remotely even talking about. You know? And I mean, everybody is always trying to pawn off like insert game here as like, okay, all the other games are dog shit, but like this is the one, you know, Third Strike is the realest Street Fighter, Street Fighter 4 is the realest Street Fighter, you know, fucking Hyper Fighting is the realest Street Fighter, and it's just like, it gets stupid and repetitive. If anybody's telling you that shit, they're lying to you. They're lying to you. There's no realest Street Fighter. There isn't the realest Street Fighter. Everybody's looking for like, this is the realest Street Fighter of the most honest, grounded footsies variety, right? Where it's like the most fair and fun experience that maximizes neutral. That doesn't fucking exist, dude. Street Fighter's dog shit, man. It's like a lot of these games are like, and the reason I think this happens is like a lot of people say that it's just like, oh, it's just contrarian rage bait. Like these people don't even believe it. Nobody actually believes the new game is bad. They're just saying that. And I don't buy that. What I think generally this happens is like there's this idealistic version of like what the realest Street Fighter is or whatever, and it's just the way that people are, where we remember the good and leave the bad. You know that meme? You see this in like every video game community, right? I've seen this for League, I've seen this for R6, I've seen this for Overwatch. I know this is like the top post in r/Noida, and I see this for fighting games like Tekken and Street Fighter 2, right? There's this meme that's really common that's like thinking about playing X game, and it's like a kid and he's all happy and smiling and stuff like that, and then versus playing X game and the kid's like crying and shit, right, and like distressed. Pretty much any competitive or hardcore game, you'll see this meme somewhere around it, right? Or like any game that's like that has any monochrome of difficulty, okay? You know, the reason I think this happened is like as people, we like throw away the bad and leave the good. And I mean, that's like the last quote in Monster is something like, what is it? Why do we only remember the good memories after a certain period of time? And it's like, that's the only way we can move on, or something like that.
People are such strange beings. The sad memories seem to just fade away until all a person's left with are the happier ones. People are certainly designed so conveniently.
That's the whole reason we can keep on living.
It's the only way we can keep living, something along those lines. But it's true, right? When we think about the games that we've enjoyed and that we've played, right, we think about only the good experiences where we're having the most amount of interaction back and forth, where we're having the most amount of stimulation, where we're thinking about the game, we're thinking about the strategy, we're thinking about what our opponent's going to do or whatnot, right? And there's feedback there, and that's what I think people are generally looking for when they're playing a game. But like, that's not all the game is. There's a lot of situations in any game, like there's no perfect game. There's a lot of situations in any game where it's like, I'd rather do without this. This is fucking stupid. This is fucking retarded. You know, when you're playing in like League of Legends and, you know, you're behind in lane or whatever, you're under level, you're under gold, you're under items, then it just feels awful. It just feels fucking terrible. Right? You basically don't even get to play, and there's not much interaction that you can do back and forth. And same thing, like if I'm just forced into a bunch of guesses, if I'm just forced into plus frames, or forced into 50-50s, there's not much interaction there, right? And the goal of a developer, I think, is to try and that there's like, if people are playing your game, that there's something that they're looking for, and that there's like a certain level of experience that they want out of it. And the goal of a developer should be to maximize that experience as much as possible, right? If what is giving people the most amount of interaction and stimulation and the most amount of enjoyment, then you should be looking to maximize those parts and then throw away out everything else. And that's what would lead to a good game. And the thing is, and of course that is footsies. That's what people like about Street Fighter. And you can see, you know, remnants of footsies in Street Fighter 5, Street Fighter 5, Street Fighter 6, Street Fighter 4, Third Strike, Alpha, you know, even Street Fighter 2, right? That's the things that people remember. People remember getting those good shimmies. They remember getting those good clean hits. They remember the footsies, and that they remember, you know, working to get that combo or those plus frames and whatnot. And that's what feels good. And that's what people picture and remember Street Fighter as, is the honest, grounded footsies. But that game doesn't exist. That game's not fucking real, right? But it could be, and it should be. That's what people should strive for and beg for and want. But it's not. It's not what we get. And it's farthest away in Street Fighter 6. Because while Street Fighter 6 may be a dog shit game by my metric, it's a good game by somebody else's. And the developers are good developers. Because what I just said was, a good developer should be looking to maximize the things that people want and leave the things that people don't. They did that. Every fucking problem with Street Fighter 6, they did on purpose. They maximized exactly what they wanted. They maximized combos. They maximized Oki. They maximized plus frames. They made sure somebody is hitting somebody else at all times. They wanted to make the game look like every fucking round is a Twitter clip. Oh my god, big combos. Oh my god, look at his health bars are fucking gone. Holy shit, he's putting him in the mix up. Oh my god, he's plus, bro. They did that. They got exactly what they wanted. Right? And if your whole idea, and the only thing you get out of fighting games is a very surface level of, oh, I just want to hit the other guy and get big combos, then this is a fucking amazing game for you. Congratulations, retard. You've ruined everything for everybody else so you can play the game for 2 seconds. That's the world we live in, because the game's not meant to be played more than 10 hours. You look at my sweaty titties, and you buy the battle pass, and you fuck off. That's what you're supposed to do with Street Fighter 6. This game's not meant to be played, it's meant to be watched. But yeah, that's about it. In conclusion, KOF 98 is the realest Street Fighter. Don't forget to, I don't know, fucking just like write a comment about how much of a little bitch I am, and I'm gonna not read it.